There really is value in using the right tools for the job, and in today's video, I have found just the one to contextualize mortgage interest rate changes and to forecast how the property market and how property prices will affect your repayments over the life of your loan. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and in today's video, we are going to be reviewing and taking a look at this website right here, which is known as the Mortgage Monster. I stumbled upon this website after visiting the Pay Calculator, which is one of my favorite financial tools available for free online. And I've actually already made a video explaining the ins and outs of the Pay Calculator, which offers a pretty comprehensive breakdown of your past, current, and future salaries and what to expect out of it. I highly recommend anyone who earns money within Australia check it out, have an understanding of how it works and the insights that it might provide. And while I've got you here, if I could quickly get you to just hit that like and subscribe button down below, it really helps the channel grow. I really appreciate the support and it does not go unnoticed. Anyway, I saw on the Pay Calculator that they had added some new links to click on, and one of them was the Mortgage Monster. When I got to the landing page, I was immediately interested in what I was looking at. It has a great aesthetic, and if it's anything like the Pay Calculator, it's going to be a useful tool that I will be coming back to for the years to come. So with context out of the way, let's jump into the ins and outs of the Mortgage Monster. At a glance, this calculator provides a number of important insights that any homeowner should understand, but it's also pretty and does the raw calculations for you so that you are able to gain access to this useful information with minimal input required. Let's start with this section here titled Loan Details. This is where the charts below are going to pull data from to perform their calculations. The numbers I use may change a bit throughout this video. Just know that the numbers I will be using will be close-ish to the debt I'm currently servicing to provide a real-world example of how the charts below would be beneficial to someone who wants to see how their mortgage will track into the future. For property value, I'm going to set it at $1 million. For the start date, I will set it to when the actual mortgage started, which was February of 2022. For the interest rate, I set it to 3.54% variable, meaning for the fixed interest tab, I will keep it at no fixed period. The term is a 30-year mortgage. I'll put the loan amount at $700,000 to keep it simple. I'll put my mortgage repayments at monthly and keep property growth at 5% for now, and will leave interest only untoggled. Which brings us to these two charts here, repayments and equity. Starting with the repayments chart, we have three different colors which show us three different pieces of information. In yellow, we see the repayment amount. In green, we have the principal coming off the loan, and in red, we see the interest being paid on the loan. Now, if I hover over the chart at any time, it breaks down the repayments at different dates over the life of the loan based on the current inputs. As you can see over time, the principal being paid off the loan increases and the interest paid to the bank decreases as the amount owed reduces. And at this current rate, it will take me approximately 10 years at minimum repayments to reach the inflection point where I'm paying more principal than interest each repayment. Now, just below this chart, we can play with this slider, which will adjust the interest rate over time and allow you to project rate rises and falls. It will also show you how much it will cost over the life of your loan to pay off your loan entirely. This is very handy because you can project how fast you could pay off your mortgage based on interest rate changes. The Advanced tab just allows you to display those rate changes in a more specific way. Moving on to the equity chart now. In green, we have the property value over time versus the equity you have in your home. This to me is just a bit of fun forecasting because it's impossible to tell how price growth will trend into the future. Laws may come into play which could decimate a property's value, or we could go through a terrible crash, resetting the prices houses are valued at. However, this chart allows us to project what the value of our house in the future may be at certain growth rates. At a 5% growth rate per year, my house should be worth approximately $5.5 million by the time that I pay it off. And as you can see, the amount of equity I will have in the property will only increase as the amount owed on the mortgage reduces. All right, moving down to the next two charts now, costs and by extension, the monthly cost breakdown. My first suggestion is to click the edit box in the cost chart table and select the state you live in. I'm in South Australia, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm also going to put the property type as an existing building, but you have the option of selecting new builds or vacant land as well. I'm going to deselect primary residence as it is currently a rental, and as the value is over the threshold for the first home owner's buyer grant, it is unable to be selected. So first up, we can see all of the mandatory government fees I would be expecting to pay for a property purchase such as this. when comparing it to my settlement statements, those values are bang on, which gives me confidence in how accurate it is able to calculate the actual value we would be expecting to see someone paying when purchasing a property. To keep the example simple, I'm going to add just one cost to the initial costs, and I'm going to call it cleanup work to account for all of the work that has gone into the property after the purchase to get it ready to be rented. I'm going to set that amount at $20,000. Then I'll add a few example ongoing costs such as maintenance, rates, and insurance. I'll set them at $5,000, $3,000 and $500 all annually just to keep it simple. Now, when we look at the chart to the right, it shows how the value of the property increases over time versus what it will cost to maintain, split between the mortgage repayments and its ongoing costs. And finally, the bottom section down here, which displays how extra repayments get factored into the equation. Starting with the trustee offset account. If you're not familiar with what an offset is, I have made a video discussing the topic and linked it in the description down below. Feel free to check it out if you like. Anyway, I'm going to say that I have $100,000 sitting in my offset right now, so let's add that in. Let's also say that I'm making double my required monthly repayments, so I'm going to add a further $3,159 per month to the box. And let's say I get really lucky and sell all of my crypto holdings for $100,000 and put it straight into the loan during the 10th year of paying it down. I'm going to ignore the change in monthly payments chart for a moment because this is an extreme case. But to see how it would look, let's look at the summary and the change to loan chart below. In the summary section, we can see that with this type of extra repayment, I'm reducing the cost of my mortgage by about $800,000. With these settings, I will contribute about $480,000 in extra repayments, saving me a whopping $330,000 in interest, and that will see me paying off my mortgage some 20 years earlier than projected. And here's what these numbers look like when represented on a graph. As you can see, the dark yellow line is dead flat after 10 years as I have now paid off the mortgage. So now let's be more realistic and plug in some appropriate numbers. I'm still happy with that offset sitting at $100,000. However, let's drop down the additional monthly repayments to $500 and remove any lump sums. Now we get a more interesting timeline of how things might play out. As you can see, adding an extra $500 per month will still save me a shit ton of money and reduce the length of the loan by almost a third, which is pretty exciting to see. And that is essentially the mortgage monster in a nutshell. I hope that my overview was easy enough to follow. Now, having gone through the website myself in depth, I can truthfully say that this is going to be a very useful tool for people who are considering purchasing a property in the future, or for those who are currently paying a mortgage down. It can definitely help you project ahead and figure out how you want to tackle certain interest rates, certain extra repayments. All of those types of things are factored in, and it's nice and pretty like you saw. So definitely consider using this if you're someone who fits into that category. Personally, it's going to be a tool that I'll come back to time and time again, similar to that of the pay calculator. I use it at least once per month to get some perspective and have an understanding of what I'm working with. It's worked out for me so far, and I'm sure it's worked out for many others, and hopefully it becomes useful to you as well. And with that being said, I don't really have anything else to talk about today, so that's where I'm going to leave you. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate the support. Like I said earlier in the video, it does go a long way for the channel. And that is pretty much it. Have a good day, have a good week, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.